Ravaged Worlds is an open beta trading card game playable in all browsers. The open beta contains an already huge sum of 200 creatures, spells and other unique cards based on the popular Demonia RPG, with an expansion pack coming out October 2015 and more to come. Choose your faction and hop right into the action. Now let's go into explaining the site a little. On the home screen you can see the latest news concerning the game, as well as a little introduction to the game itself. In the tavern you can discuss deck ideas, card reviews and general content with other players, as well as share your ideas to make the game better. As you can see, the library contains 200 cards total, as of now split into 5 factions: Demonia, Imperium, Slav, Cap and Neutral. With the coming expansion pack at the end of October 2015, a new faction joins the fray, called the Felnen, expanding the game even more. The arena is where the action happens. In the gauntlet you can test yourself against ever increasingly difficult AI opponents, or you can just practice in casual matches against AI opponents, as well as take on friends or other players in the bout to become number 1. So let's start a game. On the left side of the arena page you can see the Build a Custom Game menu. First of all you need to choose the deck with which you are going to play. In this case we've gone with a custom made deck called Flying Cap Buff. Then we proceed to choose how many players are going to take part in the game, in this case the 2v2 mode, and which game mode you would like to create. For this introduction we'll present the regular game mode. Now we can allocate bots to the game or just play with his human opponents. We've gone with 2 human players versus 2 of the game's AI opponents. Now that we have created the game, we wait for the other players to join the match and we are ready to go.
We've now entered the match screen, so let's clear all the vital information beforehand. At the bottom of the screen you can see multiple buttons which allow you to exit the arena, view your graveyard, mulligan your starting hand once, or toggle the battle log. The battle log is displayed on the left hand side of the screen, and it recaps all previous occurrences in the match. Now, at the start of a match every player draws 5 cards. Before we start our turn, we are able to mulligan our hand once for a chance at a better opening hand. Once we've pressed the start turn, our starting hand is locked in and the match begins. We start our turn in the first of 5 phases, the resource phase. In this phase we gather resources from all our deployed territories and our capital. All previously locked cards are unlocked and creature cards heal 1 hit point. Summing up the resource phase, the player draws 1 card. Next up is the first deployment phase, in which we are able to use our acquired resources to play our cards. Afterwards we enter the combat phase, which I'll explain in detail later on. Following, we enter the second deployment phase, in which we can once again deploy cards. Our turn ends with the resolution phase, in which all inflicted damage is determined and applied, and all temporary attribute modifications are removed. So let's start our turn. We can continue past our resource phase as nothing of interest happens. Now, in our first deployment phase, we are able to play cards as long as we possess the required resources to play them. We are going to play our 0 resource cost Dune Sea. Dune Sea is a territory card which increases our resource income per turn, allowing us to play more cards. We can only play 1 territory card per turn, and since we can't play any of our other cards, we'll end our turn. Let's fast forward till it's our turn again. So now, in our second turn, we are able to play more of our cards since we've accumulated more resource points. Now we can decide if we want to play the territory for 3 cost, which depletes our resources for this turn, or we can decide to play the territory costing only 1 resource, as well as the Sandwhip creature card for 2 cost. Let's play the creature and take a closer look at how the card is built up.
The card holds several pieces of information. At the top we can see the name of the card. The number in the top left corner displays the resource cost needed to play the card. The color of the card as well as the symbol in the top right corner tell us to which faction the card belongs. Beneath the card picture we have the card's passive traits. These keywords can be revised in the game's keyboard glossary. And below that we have the card's non-passive traits. These must be activated. They may require additional resources to be activated as well as lock the card against further use. On the left hand side of the card we can see the card's faction, type and subtype. There are several types of cards: events, attachments, creatures, territories and capitals. Let's look at this example of a creature card. Creatures as well as some other cards can also display up to 4 symbols representing different attributes. The power symbol stands for the damage the card can deal. The attack symbol stands for the card's skill in attacking in combat. The defense symbol stands for the card's ability to defend itself in combat. The hit point symbol indicates how many points of damage it can withstand before it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard. The resources symbol shows us how many resource points this card generates each turn.
Now we've used up all of our resources for this turn. Let's fast forward to another interesting point in the match. We've now stopped at the start of a combat phase. We'll be attacking the Imperium AI with our Scorpion Swarm. We select the Scorpion Swarm and press which opponent we would like to attack. In this case, the Imperium AI. Once we declare our attack, our opponent can choose to block our attacking creature with one of his own, to prevent direct damage to his capital. Now combat damage between creatures is calculated. Let's take a look at how combat between creatures is calculated.
This grid shows us all possible combat outcome variations. Each creature needs to roll a minimum value to hit the opposing creature. This is determined through the attack and defense values of each card. A rolled 1 is always a miss, whilst a 6 is always a hit. This gives any creature the possibility to hit or miss however strong or weak it is. This leads us to some interesting combat situations. In our example, our Scorpion Swarm with an attack value of 4 is fighting the Corrupted Psychic with a defense value of 3. As you can see, our Scorpion Swarm this needs a minimum roll of at least 3 to hit. Now the Corrupted Psychic retaliates and hits our Scorpion Swarm. Since its attack value is 2 and the Scorpion Swarm has a buff def value of 2, the Corrupted Psychic needs to roll at least a 4 to inflict damage.
After our opponent has declared his blockers, we can resolve combat and the combat results are displayed in the battle log. Let's fast forward again. Now our allied player has played an event. All players now have 10 seconds time to react to this with their own events or card effects. But don't worry about not having enough time, because when you make an action, the 10-second timer is resetted, giving you another 10 seconds to make your decision. After the 10 seconds, the event resolves and the game continues. Congratulations, we've won the game and can collect the spoils of battle.
After each game a player receives certain rewards based on if he won or lost and against what kind of opponent he played. With gems you are able to acquire cards directly from the library. With coins you are able to buy cards from other players who are willing to sell them in the market, where you can also place wanted ads. Through the store, players are able to purchase booster packs or pay real-life money to purchase coins and support the game developers. And after each game, players also receive community points. These let you level up whenever you reach a certain milestone of points and represent how much you have played or interacted with the community. There are a number and ways to receive community points, such as playing games, trading, daily rewards or chatting in the tavern. After you have played the game a little and continue to expand your collection, you may want to edit your deck or create a completely new one. This is possible through the Deck Quick button, where you can swap cards in and out of a deck and save several decks at a time. That's Ravaged Worlds. We are awaiting your challenge.